We need to shut it down.
A city councillor in Winnipeg is calling for a low-income rental provider to be shut down, claiming building conditions are putting lives at risk. This after 4 people died following violent incidents at their properties in the last 12 months.
What we're seeing right now is a huge concern. We have to take this seriously.
Winnipeg City Councillor Cindy Gilroy is asking for the provincial government to step in and shut down Living Recovery Foundation Winnipeg. Gilroy alleges the operator is taking advantage of vulnerable people and letting their several rental buildings fall into a state of dangerous disrepair.
It's an unsafe place for residents to live and unsafe for the neighboring community, so we just really need to shut it down.
With many of its clients on provincial EIA, Living Recovery Foundation claims to offer low-barrier housing to people in need with on-site caretakers that coordinate and are in close communication with both the residents and their social workers. But Gilroy says much more needs to be done.
It's not right. Having caretakers on site isn't having mental health and addiction professionals, and that's what's needed to happen here. And our government needs to step in and make sure that's happening. 26-year-old
Heather Beardy was found deceased at 485 Furby Street on February 2nd. 29-year-old Daniel Michael George Cook died after an alleged shooting at 583 Furby. 26-year-old Ira Hayes Disprow was shot at the Adinak Apartments in the 700 block of Sargent Avenue and died later in hospital. And just this week, 23-year-old Star Alicia Thomas died following an apartment fire at the Adinak, which is now being investigated as a homicide. All of the buildings are located in Councillor Gilroy's ward, Daniel McIntyre. The councillor says there's been little cooperation from Living Recovery to address concerns that have been raised.
What's at stake is lives. We really need to look at what's going on in the buildings when you see multiple murders. And if we don't stop and really take a look, you know, we're part of that as well.
Gilroy says government needs to step in to ensure adequate living conditions without displacing those who call these units home. Founding director of Living Recovery, Karen Harper-Penner, declined interview requests from City News but provided a written response. She says her organization tries to help those dealing with addictions, trauma, and homelessness in the city. We accept them where they are in their addictions, in their struggles, and until we house them, they are homeless without much hope of getting housing. Harper-Penner claims the Living Recovery Foundation is itself a victim of Winnipeg's housing crisis. She says housing advocacy groups take advantage of the organization, abandoning their clients once housed, saying it can go weeks, even months without rent. She says its tenants' actions like dealing drugs are damaging property that causes issues and creates unsafe environments, and Living Recovery is left to clean up the mess. All advocate agencies are not necessarily competent. They are very cooperative while trying to get a participant housed, and then they are ghost after the participant is housed. They promise wraparound support and then disappear for various reasons. This is our reality. She says the buildings are constantly being repaired, but it's impossible to keep up. There's a homeless crisis in our city, and LRFW is housing people that are not living their best lives and need to be housed regardless of their addiction. In Winnipeg, Morgan Majeski, City News.